All right, there's a lot of buzz taking place right now among Republicans as well as Democrats regarding President Trump's nominee for the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Now, you would certainly expect some opposition coming from the Democrats, although she formerly was a Democrat. So there may be some favor towards her, even among Democrats, but certainly among Republicans, it seems to be gaining a little problem for her. It all came about specifically following her confirmation hearing yesterday before the Senate Intelligence Committee. And some in the GOP have expressed concern specifically over her hesitation to label infamous hacker and intel leaker Edward Snowden as a traitor. But her political history also seems to be very much at odds with the current administration. So just how serious are the red flags that seem to be popping up? Joining me now to discuss this is retired Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin. I'm being told he's not quite ready. We're trying to get him by phone. He's traveling. He's on the road right now. So General Boykin will be joining me hopefully here in just a few moments. While we're waiting for him, let me switch over to Joshua Arnold. I've got a couple of questions that I want to run his way. Joshua's all right. Just being told General is back with us. So Joshua, hold on for a moment. I'll come back to you if needed. General Boykin, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I'm glad to be with you.
Always good to be with you as well. Thank you. All right, let's start on the topic of the hearing that took place regarding Snowden. That was a big issue. Let me begin with this exchange between Senator James Lankford and Tulsi Gabbard.
Was he a traitor at the time when he took America's secrets, released them in public, and then ran to China and became a Russian citizen?
Senator, I'm focused on the future and how we can prevent something like this from happening again.
All right, General Boykin, how concerned should we be that she really had no answer regarding Snowden's status as a traitor?
I think it's a clear signal that we need to be very cautious of her. I see that personally as a disqualifier for her. I was at the CIA. I spent a 2-year stint there when Aldrich Ames was found out and arrested. And I got to tell you, people would admit that they had overlooked things that Aldrich Ames was doing or had said until finally it caught up with them all, with the agency. And I think it's we have to use that, I think, as a red flag that, in my case, I could not vote for.
Yeah, and I don't know of anyone who understands intelligence any more than you. You were right in the tip of the spear of that for years in your career. But when we look at Gabbard in particular, back in 2020, she sponsored a House resolution that called for the federal government to drop all charges against Edward Snowden. So what does that tell us?
Well, listen, that's a mystery to me as to why she would, as a member of Congress, would ask to pardon him and drop charges against him, because this guy may be the all-time biggest spy against America that we have ever endured or heard of in our own ranks. And I think the fact that she wanted to let him off no penalties whatsoever for the number of people that may have actually been killed because of the information that she provided to our enemies, that he provided to our enemies. I think that Snowden should go to court and let a judge and a jury decide whether he's guilty or not. And if he's guilty of murder too, most likely.
Yeah, for those who may not remember, this is a guy who leaked literally over 1 million pages to our enemies, like Russia and China and so forth. I mean, it's amazing if that doesn't come under...
we need to keep in mind that Russia has a very active counterintelligence program in America. They have spies all over America, and you don't have to be an Edward Snowden. You give them something that jeopardizes the life of an asset that America has recruited that's working in the country of origin, which in that case would be Russia.
Yes. Yeah, real quickly, General, and I know our time's running out, but she's also been accused, Gabbard has, of acting as some sort of puppet, if you will, for foreign leaders, including former Syrian dictator al-Assad. She actually met with him back in 2017, I think probably as a move against President Trump. But what are your thoughts on that type of meeting and some of her foreign relations?
Yeah, you know, Bashar al-Assad was an evil man. And for her to go over there, especially in the first year of Trump's administration, as far as I'm concerned, was just malfeasance, just total malfeasance for her to do that. And, you know, I would go back to you and ask you, aren't there some statutes that prevent members of Congress from getting engaged in making policy? And I would have to speculate that that's what she was doing or trying to. But I think that, again, this woman is not the person to handle this agency of 18 different organizations, 8 of which belong to the Department of Defense, and the many others belong to the CIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and other organizations. And for her to go in and take charge of this, I think it would be a big mistake, and I think that Mr. Trump has got to understand. And he made some, listen, I'm all for him, but he made some bad choices his first time around with some of the people that he hired, particularly some of the generals that he hired, and they all wound up being, except for one,
right,
they all wound up being a real problem for him.
General Jerry Boykin, FRC's Executive Vice President, thank you so much for joining us on the road. Your expertise means the world. Thank you for being a part of the program today.